Thank you to everyone that checked out our scariest e-learning activity ever created in Articulate Storyline 360 over the Halloween period. I really enjoyed reading your comments on this. Many people seemed genuinely freaked out by the ghostly goings-on across each room, and it made me think that we managed to hit our target of making the scariest storyline activity ever built. The activity itself is going to stay up on the Discover eLearning website, so if you haven't checked it out yet and you're feeling brave, then head over there to play after this video. It might be obvious that quite a number of the scenes were composited together with the help of some of the latest generative AI image solutions, such as Adobe Firefly and DALL-E 3, which have all had amazing quality upgrades in the last few weeks. As well as this, the project gave me the opportunity to properly explore the capabilities of generative video tools, including Genmo and Runway version 2. The latter, I think, is particularly outstanding. And what I'd like to do is show you the workflow which I followed to take what was initially going to be a fairly static introduction to the experience in Storyline, and instead using Runway to bring the scene to life with a moving sky and some other natural movement of foliage within the shot. So to begin with, I wanted to break my scene up as much as possible so that when running everything through the video AI model, there would be less chance of seeing strange warping behaviour occurring on the objects that should be static, such as the house and the wooden sign. The sign itself was already originally rendered on top of the scene as an Adobe Firefly object, so it could instantly be hidden. To hide the house, I first need to select the outline, which I could draw manually over many minutes, but instead we have a great feature in Photoshop found under the Quick Selection tool options. The Select Subject feature by default can try to highlight the main object that is in the foreground of the selected layer through the software running locally, but also under the drop-down you have the option of sending the image to the cloud, which will generate more accurate results. With the outline selected, I went ahead and expanded the selection by 10 pixels to ensure nothing would be left behind in the cut. With the house cut from the scene to a new layer, I could now use the Adobe Firefly Generative Fill feature new to Adobe Photoshop in order to fill the scene for me to sit behind the house. This doesn't even require actually typing any text-based prompting into the box, as the AI will simply calculate what it believes should fill the highlighted space based on the rest of the image. As you can see, it does a pretty good job of this just on its own. After some general retouching of areas that needed it, I have the overall composition that I need, and most importantly, a scene without any of the key foreground objects which I can use to generate my animated video version. So now we head over to the Runway website, which provides a number of free credits for new account holders, which by the looks of things also slowly regenerate over time. I want to start with an image, so I went ahead and uploaded my scene created in Photoshop. There are then a number of settings which you can play with to dictate the type of result you might get for your final result, including intensity of motion, an interpolation switch, and settings for moving the camera within the scene. Runway seems to generate each video at a very impressive speed overall. The first result was not exactly what I had hoped for, as there was a lot of camera shake going on, which might have been as a result of not setting the camera motion slider all of the way down, and also the contrast seemed to change quite rapidly towards the end. So the next time I switched to image and description prompting and requested clouds slowly moving in the sky with trees and grass slowly moving in the breeze. I also wrote that the camera should remain perfectly still. Whether or not you can actually make this happen through prompting alone in Runway, I'm not really sure, and the scene should be calm and serene. The result this time around morphed way beyond the original image. I figured that I was being too descriptive in my written prompting, and also not letting the image itself do the talking. So for the next attempt, I simplified things as much as possible. And the result I ended up with this time was this. Pretty much perfect. Once you have the result you need from Runway, you can click on this icon in the top right corner of the video to download the full clip. So now I'm ready to compose my full scene together in Premiere Pro using my foreground objects rendered out as a transparent background PNG. After scaling them into place on the video, I pretty much now have the final result I was hoping for. Of course, free Runway accounts have this watermark applied to every saved video in the bottom corner, but we can do something about that by saving a frame from the video and bringing this back into Photoshop. Then using the lasso tool, we just have to highlight the area and once again use the Adobe Firefly generative image feature to paint over the area for us. With that taken care of, we can then save the newly created area as a PNG file and bring this back into Adobe Premiere Pro to seamlessly cover over the area. Lastly, because the length of the video I have from Runway is only 4 seconds, I use the clip speed option to expand the clip to 8 seconds, which would be long enough for my intro in Articulate Storyline. Make sure to select Optical Flow as the time interpolation option to achieve the smoothest result by doing this. And here now is the final eerie animated scene for my activities introduction. Over in Storyline, it was very simple to layer the animation on the timeline as needed in place of my original image. We can also apply motion paths to video objects in much the same way as we can with images. So I applied the motion path to the video using the Animation Painter tool. Thanks for watching this workflow demonstration video, which I hope you found useful if you have perhaps been looking for some inspiration to use these new generative AI options in your Articulate Storyline projects. You'll find even more videos that we have done on the topic of AI in Articulate Storyline on our YouTube channel. And if you are looking to expand your skills in coding generative AI into your projects, then make sure to also check out our Advanced eLearning Developer Series online tutorial course on this very topic. See you again soon, take care.